Hello guys, and this bit is going to be on basic behaviour management. So, as you can see, we are sitting in the area where the dressing up is, where usually you'd recognise this area either as a place where you go to the toilet with your children, or you don't go to the toilet, they go to the toilet, but you know what I mean. Or, this is sometimes a quiet area of the building where we take children for time out. So, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the timeout system, and then after that I'm just going to talk about a few other just little bits of advice when it comes to dealing with behaviour. You haven't got a space in your book to write some notes on this, so I'm just going to trust you that you're doing this. After that, if you turn to page 18 in your book, there's a few scenarios I just want you to have a little look at. Hopefully it'll give you a bit of a help on knowing what to do next, all the rest of it. So, timeout, like the point of timeout isn't the timeout as a punishment. Like, we're not here to punish the children or to tell them off, all that kind of thing. The reason we do timeout is it's a space for the children to calm down. So sometimes the children get really they get big sensory overload and really frustrated. They get annoyed that no one's listening to them. Perhaps they get upset with someone, or they want to hurt someone. There's all sorts of different things that might happen that wind them up. And what they need is, just as they're getting stressed out, just a little bit of a space to go and sit and calm down for a few minutes, in an enforced kind of way. Like, yeah, they do have to do it, but like, it's not like this is your punishment for being bad as much as this is a space for you to come and calm down. Because you need that time, because you're stressing yourself out and you're potentially causing us or others around you harm. So that's what the whole kind of big idea is when it comes to timeout. How do you know if it's appropriate to put a child on timeout? I think it's a little bit situation appropriate, but I think the general rule of thumb is that if you have to tell someone off for something 3 times, and the 3rd time taking them away for some space for timeout is appropriate. I also think if you're in a situation where a child will not and cannot calm down for any reason, if they're lashing and hitting out at people, if they're getting themselves into big rage, if they're swearing a lot at people, then maybe that's another point where it's appropriate. You may not give them 3 warnings, but it's appropriate because the situation is threatening to become out of control. Where you might just say, look, I think we need to go and sit somewhere and calm down. You don't need to have to say, right, time out. In fact, to be honest, I'd encourage you not to do that. I think sometimes it's better just to say, right, we need to go and calm down somewhere because this is silly and it needs to stop. So, that's kind of when you might use timeout. But to be honest, you can kind of use it whenever you think it's appropriate, and I think the emphasis is that you often will know if it's appropriate, because you'll know if the situation with the child you're with is getting out of control. So I'd say kind of have confidence in your ability to kind of discern those things and judge them. So yeah, like timeout, obviously you usually will get a sand timer, you'll hold the sand timer, you'll turn it over, just so that the children kind of can see a bit of a visual aid of their time ticking down until they can go and play again. And you might need to explain to them why we're doing this, and that they need to calm down, and that it's not appropriate, and if they do it again, then we might have to go and sit here again. It's also a good idea in all cases, to try and encourage the child to say sorry. Most of the children can sign sorry, which is like this, even if they can't say it. So I think that's just a really important habit to get into, is trying to get them to kind of take a bit of responsibility for their actions, and to understand the consequences of those things as well. So that's kind of the point of timeout. I guess there's different types of silly behaviour, there's different types of things that go wrong, and as I said, the biggest thing is probably just you making a judgment call yourself. When it actually comes to telling people off or dealing with challenging behaviour, the most important thing is to be calm, to make sure that you're being patient, you're being calm at all times. If you are externally showing signs of stress or worry, or shouting or raising your voice, they're going to tell that something's up, and they're going to tell that they're getting to you, and it's probably not going to encourage them to stop. But if you can stay calm, stay collected, talk things through in a careful manner, you'll probably find that the child is able to calm down themselves. So I think it's really patience, perseverance, and calm attitude is so important. And the other thing, I've just said perseverance, it's really important to ensure that in everything you do, that you are continuing to give it a go. Don't assume that you're rubbish at this because the first few times you don't get listened to. Like, it often takes a while for children to build up a trusting relationship with other staff members, meaning that initially they may not want to listen to you, they may not want to interact with you, they may not want to do what you say when you're trying to tell them off. Just keep persevering and don't let yourself be a pushover to them. So if you told them that they're not going to be able to play on the iPad if they're silly, and then they're silly, follow through on it. And if they are really silly after that and they cause a real problem and we have to put them time out and the team leader has to intervene, we're going to be impressed with you for the fact that you've used your initiative in following through with a punishment and you've actually followed through on something rather than being a pushover. That's going to be more impressive to us than obviously if you just kind of let them get away with whatever they like. Another rule of thumb is try not to be too harsh too quickly. So, children just say little silly things to each other all the time. They occasionally wind each other up. They will occasionally show a little bit of attitude. There's one child particularly who likes to slap other staff members as he walks past them. I think, obviously, make it clear that certain things aren't appropriate, but at the same time, you've got to be careful that you don't spend your whole time being like, but no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, and end up getting into a bit of a cycle where literally they can't do anything without telling off. Like, try and speak calmly, just suggest, I remember once I was rolling over the changing, not the changing bed, the screen that you put in front of someone if they're changing or if they're having a seizure or something, and I was rolling that across and the child came over and grabbed it and my initial reaction was to go, no, don't do that. But the manager who was with me just went, oh, are you coming to help us? And through questions and through kind of a calm attitude and not being fazed, there was no situation, it wasn't silly behaviour, it wasn't anything wrong with it. The child did something that I wasn't expecting that rattled me, but actually there was nothing wrong with that. And I think we need to get to a point where we're not getting stressed every single time a child does something that we wouldn't expect them to do. And instead kind of trying to see where they're coming from as much as possible, asking questions, staying calm, seeing if you're doing this, is there anything wrong with it? Are you actually harming anyone? Are you harming yourself? Are you causing a danger? Or is it just, part of the fun? So, yeah, I'd say just try and chill out on that. The other thing that might be your friend is even though you may not always be able to take someone's time out to this particular spot, there are other places where first you could do time out, like you could go to the soft play, you could sit them down on the bench in the playground or in the gazebo in the garden. You may also just want to say, right, we're leaving this area, we're going to leave this area for 10 minutes, you can come back when you've learned how to behave. And that sort of stuff is totally appropriate, very easy to manage, it's often easy to get someone out of an area, and also if you're in an area, getting a person in the area to assist you if you need is also just quite an easy little tool. They're always available. That's kind of part of the reason they're there. So just be aware of kind of where you can help yourself where possible. I think it's a good idea to do that. So yeah, if we move on to page 18, if you just have a little look at the scenarios and just have a little look at reading through them and answering them. And then after that, pause the video and then we'll come back. So if you can pause now and have a go at that. And yeah, hopefully you've had a look at the scenarios. Obviously there's only 4 of them. I don't think they're too difficult to work out what to do, but there's a few little complicating factors in all of them, so let's just have a look at them together. So the first one, if your one-to-one's in the soft play for quite a while and needs to be taken to the main area for a snack, and he or she lies down and won't get up, what do you do? I mean, there's a few things to bear in mind with this. The first one is that if they're lying down in the soft play and the snack's in the main area, you're not very far away from snack. So it might not be appropriate for them to eat in the soft play, because obviously we don't want to get the soft play messy and covered in food, but you could just take the snack over to them, just show it to them, go, look, see this, and see if they'll come over. They might be enticed by the snack. Don't try and pick them up and shove them over or kind of drag them or anything like that. That's not really appropriate. Just try and talk them into it. Maybe try and do a deal with them. I'll do snack first, and we'll come and play here later. Remember, if they're playing in an area, they probably really enjoy playing in the area. So it's important to acknowledge the fact that they're having a nice time. Let's not take that nice time away from them. If we're taking that nice time away from them, they are going to be a little bit resistant to it. So trying to find a way of helping them to see that they're going to be able to play again afterwards is important. As a prevention method, it's also quite important to maybe be thinking to yourself, do I need to be counting them down towards snack time? If snack time during the holidays is going to be at 11:30, at 1 o'clock and 3:30, as it gets pardon me, sorry, as it gets towards 11:15 or 3:15 or quarter to 1, maybe you need to be starting to count that child into snack time, like giving them little warnings that something's coming so that they can deal with it then. Obviously, if they're not going to move and if they're not going to eat their snack, there isn't loads you can do, so you may just have to accept that you need to wait for a little while and then come back to it in 5-10 minutes time. If you go to the next one, the child wants to go outside but won't put his shoes on, what do you do? Well, you've got to follow through on not letting them go outside, pure and simple. Don't drag them and carry them and shove them around. Just say to them, we can't go outside until you put your shoes on. Like, this is the sign for shoes, so obviously you can show that to them, you can point to the shoes, you can show them the shoes. Just shut the door to the outside. Like, obviously if you shut those double doors and stand in front of them, you're not restricting them, you're not restraining them, you're not hurting them, but you are just stopping them from going out there, and they can't get out because you're in the way. So at that point they're going to see, okay, I need to put my shoes on, then I can play. And as usual, just be patient with it. Don't shout, don't get stressed. At the end of the day, if they really won't put their shoes on, they can't go outside, sure, but there's no point in trying to like force them to do something. You may as well just, stay calm, stay collected, see where it goes. But your child is signing to you, but they're not sure. You're not sure what they're saying. Again, use a calm voice. It's like, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to understand what he's trying to say. I'm not sure. Can you show me? So point to things. Like, see if you can point to somewhere. Maybe try to sign something back. Oh, is it you need the toilet, or is it that? Is it because you want to go home? No, home is later. Stuff like that. Like, trying to just give them really simple indications that you are you're listening. You're trying to understand. You're a bit frustrated too. You're trying to communicate together. Give them plenty of eye contact. If you really are struggling and it's becoming a stressful situation, you might need to just go to one of the other people in the room, or even ask your team leader and just say, look, I'm really struggling to understand, so please can you help me? Like, what does this mean? And they'll be able to sort it out with you. So that's that one. And then for the final one, if your one-to-one starts hitting out and you're not able to stop them, obviously the answer is ask for help for this one. Don't try and stop them yourself. If you're restraint trained, you may be able to move them into an area for time out to calm down. But even then, those of you who are restraint trained will know that actually no restraint really should be done on your own. You should always have another person there, which means you're still going to have to ask for help, because all restraints are going to take 2 to 3, maybe even 4 people to be done safely. So that's something probably just to be aware of when it comes to it. Otherwise, before the situation occurs, what can you do? Try and keep the child occupied, try and distract them. Distraction is an incredibly important tool that we have. So trying to prevent the situation by distracting, you even shout something like, oh, look at that plane. And they might go, what? And then you might be able to arrest the situation. What did you do at school today? Well, they're trying to hit you. And that confuses them a bit because it is a bit random. Obviously other things you can do and ask them, why are you doing this? Are you annoyed? Is there something I can help you with? Are you stressed? Are you hot? How was school? Try and just ask them things to make them think, actually, why am I doing this? And also you can say to them, if this carries on, this will be the consequence. You won't get the reward time you want, we will have to go and sit down, we will have to leave this area, we will have to stop playing with the thing you're playing with. And that might just make them stop and think. At the end of the day, sometimes you cannot prevent someone from hitting and lashing out. They're frustrated and they've just got it in their heads. And that is a frustrating thing to come to terms with. We are not superhuman. We can't always change people's behaviour. I would say the best piece of advice is just take that on the chin, deal with it as best as you can, and ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. As much as we want you to be able to deal with these things yourself, which is why we're doing a behaviour management section with you, if you are struggling, it is always better to ask for help. Those of us who are team leaders and managers, we've all dealt with these situations before. We've all had to do plenty of behaviour management ourselves. We're reasonably self-assured, and we're quite able to help and willing to help whenever we can. But obviously, try and deal with the situation yourself first. But if it's becoming at a point where you don't think you can, ask for help. So I hope that information has been helpful. Just kind of finding out a little bit about behaviour management and how to deal with it. Obviously, fill in those situations in your book, and let's move on to the next bit.